Good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday. And now it's time to talk money, specifically the salary cap. And we need to figure out how much cap space do the Seahawks really have left? Like, really, what is the actual meaningful number? Not just the funny math number. No, the meaningful number for the Seahawks. What do we have left to spend as of right now, Sunday? Right after the first week of free agency. And we're going to have to take some shots in the dark here. There's going to be some guesswork involved, but I have done my best to accumulate all of the information that I can into one spreadsheet. So hopefully, after I make this video, we will have at least a starting point to work from. So if you want to know how much actual cap space the Seahawks have right now, with 57 players on their payroll, this is as close as I can come to it right now. We're going to get more information in the coming days that's going to help, but I believe this is accurate to this moment. Okay, so first of all, we have this number. This number is from overthecap.com. Overthecap.com had this number listed on the Seahawks' current amount of cap space. Basically 17.5 million, little less than 17.5 million. That was with 53 players on the roster. 53 players on the roster under payroll. So we were at exactly roster capacity at that point in time. Okay, so since that number was posted, we have 4 signings that Over the Cap currently does not have. In the case of Jarran Reed, Devin Bush, and Julian Love, it's because we don't know what the cap hit is yet because we haven't seen the contract. In the case of Drew Lock, it's because I don't know. Maybe because we don't know what the incentives are yet, but we know what the cap hit is. It's, as of right now, $4 million. So this 4 million number is, I believe, accurate to what the Drew Lock contract is as reported. These other 3 are my best guess based off the information we have. So we started about 17.4. Jarran Reed, I would estimate his first year cap hit based off the information we have, 2.75 million. We know it's 2 years, 10.8 million, but we know there are incentives in that contract. So the actual cap hit should be lower than expected based off that amount. So I'm guesstimating Jarran Reed's cap hit at 2.75 million. Like I said, Drew Lock, 4 million. Devin Bush, 4 million. Julian Love, 3.4 million. Now, just to make sure I source everything properly, Devin Bush, the only report I've seen on the money so far on Devin Bush is the 1 year, 4 million. But I have not seen anything official from any reliable source that it's actually that yet. But for the moment, it's the only number I have. Julian Love got 2 years, 12 million. So I'm just going to speculate that the first year cap hit is 3.4, and then the second year cap hit balloons significantly when he's probably going to have an even bigger role in the defense. But that would be my guesstimate on these 4 cap hits that are currently not accounted for under this number. So that leaves us with about 3.25 million in cap space. However, when you sign 4 players to a roster that is at capacity, you have to push 4 players off. So next, what I've done here is I've accounted for that. I am pushing 4 players who are possibly going to end up on the practice squad, but they're not going to be on the 53-man at this point, off the roster. Easop Winston, Connor Weddington, Tyler Mabry, and Chris Garrett. Those 4 guys go. All of their money shakes free, and that creates more cap space. After these 4 cuts, we get to about 6.6 million in cap space, a little more than 6.6. So we free up about $3.4 million in additional cap space. So this is where we are right now, as near as I can tell. If the season started tomorrow and we had to get down to 53 players, we would be right about here. 6.6 million in cap. Now, we have a big rookie pool this year. Almost 17 million total. all of our draft picks, put their estimated cap hits together, going to be $16.9 million in that first year cap hit. Now, that's assuming that every rookie makes the team and we don't do any trading. We may very well trade some picks. We could even trade for a future first-round pick, which would reduce this number significantly because it's basically pushing that cap hit to the next year in a way, because you're obviously taking away pick value from this year to get pick value in a future year. But as of this moment, the rookie pool cap hit is $16.9 million. That gets you to negative $10.25 million. All right? So after the draft class, after you draft all of your rookies and you pay them, you get all the way down to $10.25 million over the cap. So clearly, we got some work to do. The good news is a lot of the work will be taken care of it in cuts. And what I mean by that is, of course, when you take on a bunch of rookies, in this case we have 10 draft picks, you're going to have some players get released off your roster to make room for those rookies. So these are 10 players that I believe will get cut and be replaced by the drafted rookies. Darwin Thompson, Jalen McKenzie, Joey Hunt, Greg Island, Jared Hewitt, V. Jones, Josh Onujiogu, Isaiah Dunn, Chris Steele, and Cade Johnson. And every single one of those cuts frees up their full salary because none of them have any bonus. None of them got any kind of a signing bonus or a guarantee. Some of them are on futures contracts that are absolutely, completely not guaranteed and are often expected to be cut before the season starts. So all of these salaries shake free after the draft because somebody has to go. Obviously, it doesn't happen immediately, but it will happen. Because remember, roster sizes are like 90 players big in training camp. And then you get down to like 85, and then 80, and then you get down to 53. So it doesn't all happen at once, but we're talking about effective cap space here. So you get rid of all of these salaries. Where does that put you? You're still in the negative. You are still 1.7 million over the cap at this point. And that's kind of where we sit right now in terms of effective cap space, right? Negative 1.7 million. So we don't have any room at the moment. But we're not done yet. There's a practice squad cap hit. You have to pay your practice squad players. You pay them a lot less than you pay other players. But a full practice squad is going to cost you roughly 4.3 million. That gets you all the way up to 6 million over the cap once you pay your practice squad players. So once you do all of the math here, you account for the rookies, you account for the cuts, you account for the cap hits of the players where we don't know the cap hit yet and we're just estimating, you account for all of that, you get to the magic number of 6 million over the cap. So as of right now, the Seahawks can't really do anything. So let's talk about how they can get out of that, because obviously, well, first of all, we have to get under the cap, right? You literally can't go into the season without being under the cap. If you're over the cap, the league will, I don't even know what happens then, honestly. I don't know if they send people to your house. I don't know if they threaten to burn down your facilities. I don't know. But you have to get under the cap when you get down to the 53-man roster. So we're 6 million over. This is, by the way, with no UDFAs and no other free agent signings. So what do? Okay, let's take a look. Tyler Lockett restructures. At this point, Lockett restructuring is kind of a must. There's no way around it. Even with us not really doing anything for the rest of the offseason, except for drafting. Because again, I want to stress this. This is not with us doing anything extra. This is just with what we've done. Lockett needs to restructure. And that saves almost the full 6 million. It's about 5 3/4. So that gets us down to being 250,000 over the cap. So we're almost there, but even the Lockett restructure does not get us all the way out. So the next move would be to extend Uchenna Nwosu. That frees up about 5 million, I would estimate. That gets you to cap space in the black. You are now in the black. 4 3/4 million cap space. 4 3/4 or slightly more. Now, I want to point out here real quick. that A, we still need to pay a long snapper. We currently don't have a long snapper on the roster. That's going to cost about $1 million. And then you're going to need $3 to $4 million in cap space when the season starts, so you can pay guys in the event of injuries. You can sign people in the middle of the season. Most teams want to have at least $3 to $4 million in extra cap space when the season starts, just in case they have to make a mid-season move. So the Nwosu extension basically gets us exactly where we need to be, because we add the long snapper, and then we've got a little less than $4 million in space that we're probably going to sit on. You don't have to, but most teams prefer to do it like that because you want to be prepared in case something really bad happens during the season. You need to handle practice squad promotions throughout the year as well. It's just teams want to have a little bit of extra cap space when the year starts. So if we want to sign more players, if we want to get free agents, if we want to have extra money to get UDFAs, if we want to do these things, there are really three things that we can do at that point. Because to me, the Lockett restructure and Nwosu extension are basically mandatory. However, if we want to free up extra money, you can cut Al Woods, free up 3 3/4. Cut Brian Monet, free up 3 1/4. So those two moves combined free up about $7 million in cap space, just over $7 million, and that gets you to a point where you actually have enough money to go out and spend on other players in free agency, about $7 million. The last thing you can do is trade Noah Fant. Now, if you trade Noah Fant, you're probably going to get a early day 3 pick, and that pick is going to cost you a little something, but Fant's entire salary goes away, so the net gain of that is going to be about $6 million. You can easily replace Fant in the draft, so it's a good tight end class. So basically, that's how that would work. That would get you to a point where you have nearly $18 million in cap space, and then you could actually do something. But too long, yeah. Long story short, this team needs to make some moves to create enough cap space just for what they've already done. If we want to make space for the moves that we've already done, you're going to have to come up with some combination of restructuring Lockett, extending Nwosu, cutting Woods and Monet, and trading Noah Fant. To me, those are the only moves we can really make at this point. You're not going to cut Will Dissly because part of his contract already vested. You're not going to cut Quandre Diggs for the same reason. You could cut Jamal Adams. That's the one kind of get-out-of-jail-free card here potentially, but it's a very, very nasty get-out-of-jail-free card to use because of what happens next year with the dead cap. You could do that. That would bail us out of a lot of trouble, but clearly we don't want to do that. If we wanted to do that, we probably would have done it by now. So, other than that, I think these are the only options. Restructure Lockett, extend Nwosu, that gets you to basically even. Cut Woods and Monet, trade Noah Fant, that gets you to a place where you're actually able to bring in a few free agents. And pretty good free agents, too. All right, so that's how I'm looking at the salary cap right now. This number right here, this is where we sit functionally. And this number right here is where we sit in terms of practicality, considering the draft is coming. And then this number is post-practice squad, which, I mean, there's no way we don't have a practice squad, right? So, realistically, this is the number we should be looking at right now, negative $6 million. So, yeah, it's not a lot of money to work with right now, but my point is we can create it, and we're going to have to do some stuff to create it. We're going to have to do some combination of these things to create that space. All right, let me know what you think. Did I miss anything? Did I not consider a certain angle here? Did I maybe overlook a certain opportunity to create more cap space? I mean, look, there are always ways to create cap space. You can pin void years into any contract pretty much. I just don't think we would do those things. That's not typically the way we like to do things. So for the moment, that may be off the table. But outside of just going crazy with void years, this is what I see. All right, so that's where we stand right now in terms of actual cap based off my evaluation. All right, see you guys later. Go Hawks. Have a good Sunday. Let me know what you think.